He thinks that the 458 is a better car than the 720S. What do you think?
Well, I'm not I don't dislike Ferrari, but just like how the whole thing about can't be creative with your cars, that I say alone would be a reason why I wouldn't, because I wanted to do like a Ferrari diesel swap, but
A Ferrari diesel swap?
yeah, that was like the next thing I was going to do.
Bro, you're a madman, dude. You're a mad scientist, bro.
This ended up being like way more than I intended, so I probably won't do that. But I thought it'd be cool to like see what they would do and see if I get a
Ferrari would disown you. Like they would literally be like, "Hey, you are removed from any Ferrari this, Ferrari that, Ferrari this." Yep. He just wants me to put an exhaust on it and tune it, and then that's it. And I'm like, that's boring.
What would the exhaust cost? Like $20,000?
Probably, yeah. He's trying to pitch me on like a $50,000 exhaust system.
That's why he wants you to keep it.
Like that. Yeah, I know.
You're going to keep him in business.
He's due.
Welcome to the Supercar Connection podcast. Find us on social media at Supercar Connection and full episodes weekly on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. I'm Gavin, this is my boy Joe, and we're here to talk about cars. We're here in Ghostworks again, kind of where it all began. We're here with Bryce Yeager. He's got an insane Gallardo build. I don't even know if we can really call it a Gallardo anymore, but it's still got a Lambo badge on it. But it's crazy. If you're not watching on video, go check out his Instagram. Pull up the video at some point. You got to see this Gallardo. He makes crazy content with it. It's insane. So why don't you just start telling us kind of about what you do, how you got this, and how this has turned into this? I know that's a big question, but
I imagine it didn't start like this. So.
Yeah. So, kind of like right before COVID, well, right when COVID happened, and a little bit before that, I wanted to start another build and wanted to do something different. And then that's when like Copart was like really popping off. You saw the videos, like everyone like rebuilding Copart cars. So
everyone's an auction expert.
Exactly. Like out of nowhere.
The car's not that badly damaged. I can do that. It's
I can figure that out.
Yeah.
Yep.
We got whole YouTube channels dedicated
literally.
to that.
Yep. So I was, I looked on there for a little bit for like a wrecked old, early 2000s exotic car, and wasn't too serious about it. And mentioned it to my brother, and then he sent an eBay listing of a car, and it was, this Gallardo, and it was in Vegas for royalty exotic cars. And so he sent it to me, and I was like, all right, I'm going to go look at it. And he was like, actually, I was joking. Probably not a good idea. So it was like, in a fire. It was a rolling show, but, a big risk. And he was like, bad idea. I was like, even more of a reason to do it. And went out there a week later and picked it up. And then that's kind of what started the 2-year build.
It was in a fire?
Yep. So
like it caught on fire, or
a space heater,
like royalty exotic cars burned down on fire type thing. You said it was a part of their fleet.
They were doing like I don't know if it was a big twin turbo build or just a single turbo, but yeah, they were doing a build, the space heater caught the rear bumper on fire, and so like there's a video like the whole shop like smoke pouring out of their shop, and
it's Houston over there. They do some crazy some crazy stuff.
That's Houston.
That's Houston Crosta. Yeah, his brand and the royalty exotic.
Yeah, so that's right. I picked it up.
Why do I think they were Vegas?
They are Vegas. That's what I'm saying. This is insane. It's Vegas.
You said Houston.
Yeah, Houston Crosta.
He's
the owner. He's the owner. He's the owner of exotic cars out there.
Thank you for bringing me.
He does. He's one of the. Okay, so he not even talk about it, but he does some crazy builds. So I know the fact that like this was part of their builds, and then you said the rear bumper caught on fire.
Yeah, the space heater caught on fire, and so then they made it a display vehicle. And so when I went to go look at it, he was like, "What are you going to do to it?" So he didn't want
everything.
He didn't want someone just to buy it and then just make it back to stock and then resell it. He wanted someone to do a swap on it. So I was, trust me.
Right.
I'll do something really dumb with it.
But like, hold my beer. Like, don't worry. Like, I got this type of shit.
And even at that time, I didn't expect it to be this crazy because I went into it with a budget of $70,000. The car with the transmission was $40,000. So gives me $30,000 to work with, which, expectations are always really off.
Yeah.
And then
that's not that much to work with car stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
It might sound like a lot, but when it comes to cars, that budget will die real fast.
Especially when you need an engine.
Yep.
Literally.
And so, someone told me, well, I should say, lied to me maybe, but on the price it would be to get a 1,000 horsepower 2J built.
What did they quote you
at? 16,000.
That was all in 16,000. You're getting 1,000 wheel pushing, going crazy.
Yep. And he was going to try and do it one time on the dyno and like lift the head, like put as much boost in it as possible. And yeah, it was not built right. And so basically before that, you know, getting the engine done and, you know, learning the process. And then someone came by, found a tuner to come by, and his name is Sean. And he looked at the car and he was like, so what are you wanting? I told him, you know, a reliable 1,000 horsepower, which, you know, people laugh at.
Doesn't exist.
Yeah. Like we both just did.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, reliable 1,000. Yeah, people laugh at that. But, you know, so basically we built the engine to be like 1,500. But anyhow, yeah, he was like, so what exactly do you want? And he looked at the car and was like, you know, I don't want to be that person, but this car will be lucky if you hit 800. And it's just cheap parts and, you know, a lot has to change. The turbo that we had wasn't even ever going to come online. So then he kind of took over for like, from that standpoint, like any part, you know, he approved of. One of the smartest people I know when it comes to cars, all that. And so he kind of like, yeah, took over, and we decided to do a stroker. So it's a 3.4. That way I could do a bigger turbo.
Right.
Yeah. Basically everything was built around the turbo. So I wanted the biggest turbo possible, and then let's do what I need to do to be able to use that. So we did a stroker, 6-to-1 header to help, you know, with airflow, just different things like that. And yeah, had to rebuild the engine 3 different times because various reasons, you know, people, before we even turned it on. So it ended up costing more than even like a crate billet 2J.
What normally costs.
Yep. Like, you know, 70,000, it costs more than that
right.
for just the engine.
So for those out there that don't know, because obviously I for sure know this answer, but some people that are listening may not know this answer. What is the 2JZ famous for, like, being in?
The Supra.
The Supra.
Yep.
So we got the Super engine.
All the Super Boys, yeah.
Mid or
JDM
rear mounted, mid engine mounted, with a fat turbo.
Yep. So
One turbo.
Sequential.
Yep.
One fat
The
turbo.
Super sequential, yeah.
Yep.
Huh?
No, I was saying sequential, but I said the super sequential. But the
Super sequential.
sequential turbos, yeah.
Okay. Why are you so quiet?
Am I quiet right now?
Kind of.
I don't know. You got me tripping on my
Joe's
mic
got
thing,
no
so I'm
energy.
like,
No,
I got the juice,
You
baby.
still
Don't
bring the
even start. I
energy.
have the juice, baby. I have the juice.
He's over here whispering.
I
have
just say
the
something
juice.
controversial if you want, you know.
Go ahead. Yeah, let's hear
Rip
it.
it. Absolutely rip it.
But yeah, so when doing the build, there's like a lot of little things that were different, you know, because when I did it, there was supposedly not, well, I don't think that there was one. There was one video of this red Gallardo in Dubai that it has this engine bungee corded into it. And so I claimed that this is like, you know, the first 2JZ Lambo, and that started like a lot of people talking like, no, dude, there's this one video, it's not even running. And then after I did this, there's been, I think, 2 people that have done one, but they won't make it as crazy, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely not.
But
This thing is, again, like a unicorn. Like I don't even know what I'm looking at right now. It's absolutely ridiculous.
I saw there was an engine swapped Diablo. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a Diablo that I saw several years ago. I don't remember it probably wasn't a 2J. I don't remember what it was. But what a crazy concept.
So are you
Engine
kidding me?
swapping a Lambo.
What was the most?
Well, I mean, if you don't
painstaking
have
process?
an engine, that's different.
Yeah, no, on a whole other planet. What was the most like painstaking thing to the point where like you were literally gonna like pull your hair out with this build?
People just not doing their job right, and I have to drive out to, because the car was in Temecula and I'm in Garden Grove, so I had to drive out almost every day because it's just like from the very start, you know, I said I wanted this type of roll cage. They built it differently, a whole different design. I was like, it's not what I wanted. And so it basically ended up being where I had to just go out there and make sure everything was being done right. And then even at that point, it's like when you have to rebuild the engine 3 different times, like, you know, the first time was when he was like, you know, it's not going to reach 1,000 horsepower. And then so I got a different engine builder, Ernest, and so he was the final person to do it. And dude, the engine's been great, you know. He did a great job. But when he was redoing it, he was like, yo, this block was not honed and bored right. So the whole block we had to toss and then get a new one.
You had to dump a whole block?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
dude, are you kidding me? It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, we realized, like, do we want to put sleeves in it or, you know, just get a new block? And it was just better to, you know, smarter to get a brand new block. So we had to redo that. And then after that whole build was done on the engine, the fabricator in Temecula left the valve covers off and metal shavings got into the motor. And so when we were checking the timing, like a few months before SEMA, Sean put a camera down into the engine and saw metal shavings, and it was like, it's going to have to come apart. It was in the car, ready to go, had to come apart. So we had to pull it,
down again.
redo the entire, you know, just clean everything. We didn't have to like get different parts or anything at that point, but still like, you know, 3 different rebuilds and a whole new block. So it's just that process was the most just, you know, getting a call from the engine builder like, yo, we're going to need a new block. That's just like,
Yeah, that hurts, especially when you're working on a budget.
yeah.
There's some people they got endless whatever. They're just
to dump
stroking
into it.
checks.
Yeah.
And that's probably these guys' favorite client. But
That's one of the,
literally,
to get controversial, that's actually one of the problems why I brought the car back into the shop was, you know, I found out that, you know, when they were billing me, they were paying for tools. They were putting it on my tab, and I found out.
tools that they needed to do the build.
No, that's been no, like,
tools in
so
general?
an AN, you know, wrench kit.
They're
that
running
they-
it through his bill.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we're
so
going to get this
I
to the
bought
shop.
them an AN wrench kit for them to use for
Did they
everything
at
else.
least try to justify it to like, oh, well, we need this special so we can do this. They didn't even try to give you fluff. They didn't even attempt.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but you know how it is. It's just, you know, I'm the type of person that I just don't put up with that, you know.
As you shouldn't.
Yeah, like, you know, I don't put up with that stuff. So when I found that out, I was like, all right, it has to come back to the shop. I cannot trust it outside the shop, you know, because people will, it doesn't matter who, like people will take advantage of you if you do not like really.
You got to watch out. Some of
Yeah.
these places, especially dealing with you know, super high income people, expensive cars. There's a lot of guys that they know they're dealing with that won't even look at the bill or the breakdown.
Not at all.
Right?
They'll write a check.
They'll
and
just
they'll be
write
like,
the check.
Take
Yeah.
it.
And I will say this, you know, they did that, but, you know, at the end of the day, they were, you know, they did take on the build and a lot of the fabric they did. And so, like,
Are we allowed to disclose who did this or no?
I don't, he actually doesn't even have a shop. I think he moved to Texas. So it wasn't a big shop. It was like, so that, I think that's, you know, he was having money problems. And so like, it wasn't like he was just like rolling in money and was like, hey, I'm just going to take a lot from it, you know? So I understand like the reason why he did it, but that still doesn't make it okay.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm, you know, I have a grudge against him or anything like that, but it's just like, you know, kind of, I don't like being lied to. That's my biggest thing. Don't lie to me.
100%.
So I felt lied to at that moment, but
Do you know how much this car weighs?
I don't. I actually been wanting to weigh it, but I can't find a scale. Like,
Because it's got to be like so low.
yeah.
So what do you
I
think
use
it is? We're gonna make
excuse.
guesses.
There's like no interior. Everything's ripped out of this car. There's no back end.
How much
guess
does a
is like
Gallardo weigh?
2,200.
That's a hell of a guess. What does a Gallardo weigh normally?
I think 25. I'm not sure.
Just normal.
I'm sure the YouTube comments they'll know.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, they'll know how much.
Yeah,
but
the fact checkers will be
Yep.
spamming.
I
this
would
thing like
think
crazy.
it's aluminum frame. The thing is light, very very
There's no
light.
way.
The regular Gallardo is
2,500.
probably like around 3,000.
It has to be.
The 4C is 2,500.
2,500 is already light as hell.
Very light.
You
I
think,
wouldn't be surprised if it's low twos because
you think you're sub 2?
yeah.
That's
I use
insane if you're
excuse though
sub-2.
because for open fenders, if your car weighs under 1,500 pounds, you actually don't have to have fenders because yeah. So whenever the 2 times I got pulled over, I was like, the car weighs under 1,500 pounds. I was gonna like get a weight scale thing and change it to like 1,500 pounds. Yeah.
So I'm telling you, anytime you get pulled over, you're like, hey, buddy, take
Yeah.
this.
So you're
Don't-
telling me
don't pull
these glass things aren't fenders?
No, I actually got a ticket for no fender.
fenders.
Yeah, because the whole thing is cut behind the wheel to throw the rock, you know.
Right.
So
Oh, yeah.
they basically was like, you know, he was like, fab up like a mud flap on the back. I was like, sure, I'll do that. But yeah.
Who cares enough to pull you over for that?
Orange
What
County.
City? Yeah, was is that OC type thing?
Beach cities.
Sounds like Glendale community. is what it
So first one was Newport, Costa Mesa area. I'm coming back from Cars and Coffee. And one cop rolled up next to me with a bike and was like, yo, I never want to see this on the road, you know, but didn't pull me over. And then a minute later, a cop actually pulled me over. and I guess it was someone in his squad, and he told them to pull me over, and then wasn't happy that they didn't like pull me over, so then he took care of it. But he was super cool, like understood it's for marketing for the business, and he could have really, give it, and so it wasn't even a fix-it ticket. And then the second time was leaving a show in Long Beach, and they were just pulling everyone over, like every single person who left that show. They were
just
pulling,
tagging them.
and so he gave me a ticket, but not a fix-it ticket. So I've been lucky, and I'm not there's for it to be a reliable 1,000 horsepower, I'm not doing pulls everywhere I go. I'm not just like redlining it, just driving it like a 350Z.
I would probably be disrespectful if I had it like that. I'd be redlining it every day.
Are you down here in OC, or are you up like LA?
Yeah, in Garden Grove, so right here, Anaheim area.
Sweet. So like you make some insane content with this thing. I know, I saw a video of you roasting a turkey
That was the greatest video I've
off
ever
of
seen.
the wing,
Yeah.
like with the exhaust flames.
Yep.
How did like the content stuff get started? How did you get into making content?
Yeah. So that's very interesting. So kind of what started it was like my very first build I did was a painted 350Z, and at that moment I was like, the cleanest build will be like the coolest build, get the most attention. And my friend Cam, he had a wide body 370Z, and it was just a nasty, like a good nasty, like wide and looked great, but not like the detail, like, it was wrapped, so it wasn't painted. So it was like more like just the wild aspect and not just like trying to make it as perfect as possible. And, his, everywhere we went, he had got all the attention, all that. And so then when I wanted to do a drift build, and so I bought another 350Z. So when I was doing that, I made a video where it had this real cheap wide body on it. So I like ripped it off and then threw it onto the car in the video. And that video got like a ton of views. And so that was kind of like the start of like, because I would run a few ads for the company. And so I was like, okay, I could spend, money on an ad that after the ad runs, it's gone, or I can spend money on car stuff and just make wild content. And so that's kind of like the start of it. So I had this white 350Z that my girlfriend did a backflip into the back window on it. And
say that again.
Yeah, so it was like a ridiculousness put on the show, and like Tosh went out.
Insane.
Yeah.
Your girlfriend did a backflip. Say the whole thing
She's
again.
on the roof.
I'm trying to picture this.
Yeah.
She's on the roof. She was trying to do a backflip on the roof, but went back too far and landed on the back window and just went through the back window.
She like shattered the back window.
Yeah, she went through it. It could have been, dude, so much worse. There was, because I just cut the speaker box out, so there was like still metal things
Was she
sticking
good?
up.
She was
Oh yeah,
okay?
she was good. She's a trooper, dude. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And we went to Vegas the next day for my birthday. It was like, yeah.
Why was she doing backflips on the roof of the car in the first place?
For the views.
For the views? That was like
For content,
The
yeah, and it
video
was her
was
idea.
meant to be like doing a backflip on the roof.
Yeah, it was her idea, because we were like, different. What would get people to like be very controversial? That's why I said I can be controversial. So like a video that we did was using a broom to wash the car, standing on the roof with a sweeper. I poured a Corona. It had this weird fuel tank thing, and so I disconnected it, but poured a Corona in that. And just like different.
It sounds like Bilko activities is what this is.
Yeah. So I just did some.
It's like Bilko meets Whistling Diesel.
This is
It
exactly
was
what
actually.
this is like.
It was when he was actually, the very start of Whistling Diesel. This was when he had like a few 100,000 followers on Instagram, and this is when he was doing the more simple, not like the
Crazy.
wild
Right,
stuff.
right.
Crazy
Dude,
over the
he's
top.
a whole nother.
He's reached new levels. New
Yeah,
dimensions.
no one is even close to that guy. Like he's figured it out, and he has the money then to continue it.
Yeah. He just
The
keep
money is a
feeding the
big
file.
piece.
Yes.
When you have the money, when you can start throwing like, this wasn't even him, but when you can just start throwing like a total Gallardo into a what's it called? One of those car
Destroyers like
yeah,
things.
yeah. And that's what what's his face did. Threw a Gallardo in that car destroyer thing.
with the Mr. Beast.
Yeah,
Oh,
Mr. Beast, and then it's just 100 million views.
Yeah.
Like think about the expense on that.
It
What are they-
pays for the
But
total
the whole-
Gallardo like
why
8
they-
times
Yeah,
over.
literally.
Why they can do that is because they have YouTube, and so they're getting paid through the YouTube views. I don't have YouTube. I'm not like, I don't know. That's not my character. And one, I don't have time. And two, that's just not like what I enjoy. I like making stuff. So
You like building shit.
exactly. Like I love designing, like with the start of Street Arrow, like I built the CNC machine. I, designed all the parts, did the tool pathing, and then got in 3D printing. So I just love making stuff, design. And, so, YouTube wasn't my thing. So the way when I'm doing stuff, it's to bring traffic for the company, but for them, it's like, I don't want to say easier, but they can get paid back for the stuff that they do quicker, than what I would do to the car. So I didn't like, if I did something crazy, I wouldn't get that revenue back immediately to be able to dump it back in and really start climbing up and start doing some really crazy stuff. But
is Street Arrow your company?
Yep. Yeah. So I started it in Cincinnati, Ohio. And actually what happened was my friend Cam, he had that, 370Z and he had an arrow kit on it. And so I asked him about it and then got it from the same guy. And it was like so badly made. And so I had to remake it myself. And then kind of from there, a buddy wanted one and made him one. And then that's just kind of how it like started off. And I never expected it to be a career. Like I was still going to college. And when people would ask, it would be like, oh, it's just like, a side thing. I was making $10 an hour working at a dealership, which sucked.
What were you
And
doing at the dealership?
I literally like the lowest job you can buy. I would sweep the floors and wash their cars. It was like the most Volkswagen.
Volkswagen.
Yeah.
How long was this?
Like 6 months. Before that, I worked at where my dad was president at a company, SVG. And so there was a lot more like I would write standardized work instructions and stuff like that. And the whole reason why I got that dealership job, I knew someone that worked there, and it was like needed to work with my hours at school because at SVG I would have to be, full time there. And so I couldn't do that. I also, right after that, before the dealership job, I had I was valet at a casino. So I was able to drive some nice cars there. But again, the hours didn't work with school. So when I was going to class, I had to work the dealership job. And then once Street Arrow started getting more sales, it was like one diffuser I'd make as much in my head, before costs and everything, would make as much, the whole week I'd work at the dealership. So once, that I started getting a few orders a month doing that, I, stopped working there and then just started doing it. But I still was like, it's not going to be like my career. And until it just kept, picking up, and then decided, let's move to California, drop out, and this is where everything's at.
Let's chase the dream, baby.
Yeah.
Got to. So Street Arrow makes parts.
Yeah, splitters and diffusers. Yeah.
Splitters and diffusers.
Specifically, those two things.
Yeah, we've done steering wheels, which, doing business with China is very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting to say the least.
Very interesting. Yeah, and so I used to do steering wheels, and then because we actually Cam and I came up with a forged carbon steering wheel, a full forged carbon steering wheel, and so we were the very first people to do it. We asked them to test it out. So would there have been one eventually? Probably, but we were the first ones to actually do it, and then we wanted to sign an exclusivity agreement with them so they wouldn't just sell it to everyone, because they also supply energy and stuff like that. And yeah, before you know it, you start seeing other companies start selling it. And, after that, I still sold it for a while after that and did harnesses and shift knobs. But only the ones that we would design it. But even then, I just didn't get the, enjoyment out of that as much. Like, I like making stuff. I like doing everything in-house. And I can control the quality, which is a key thing. Like, we would get the carbon steering wheels. I'm so particular about it has to be perfect. So then we would just have a lot of ones with a small little scratch that we couldn't sell. And so I literally have so many steering wheels at my place that, because I don't want to sell it to a customer. Most people would, but like if they're buying a brand new steering wheel, it should be perfect, And Absolutely. So I just was tired of dealing with that. And so right now focusing more on harnesses or splitters and diffusers, and discontinue harnesses, and once we saw the steering wheels, we'll discontinue those. And
What models?
Ford is like our
Ford?
Yeah.
Like the Focus and the Mustang?
Yeah, Bilcos. Yeah.
This broken thing that everyone's seeing right here.
Yeah.
Look
Yeah.
right here.
But the 15, 17, and 18 plus, what is like the number one by far seller. And so it was first Nissan, and everyone was like, "Oh, you only do Nissan." And then Ford
I
started
knew I
picking
felt
up.
something about Nissan.
Yeah,
That's why I said
like a
there was
Nissan
something. There was
hole
said
there.
Nissan was floating.
Yeah. Yeah,
in
because
the-
that was my
in the-
first car, and
in
so
the
that's
air.
like the first design I made, and so it wasn't like, oh, we only do Nissan. It was just like that's the first car I did. So, that's why there was that kind of misunderstanding. But yeah, we do it for really any car. We can do side splitters for any car. You measure the length of your side skirt, and then unless you're a BMW who have the jack pads under their car, but other than that, measure the length. We have all the sizing and.
You just cut it.
Yeah.
But you know how good it makes me feel to know that there's an aftermarket parts, I guess what would you call it? So like fabricator that actually cares about the quality and everything that goes
I care
into
too
it.
much.
Bro,
Like
the amount
Yeah,
of
this
like
is huge.
the amount of places, like for example, like you place an order, they'll tell you have like this ETA when you place it, then you place the order and they don't end up shipping things out for like 4 weeks, 5 weeks, then you get it and it's not what you want and everything in between. So knowing that there's somebody out there that makes something that actually gives a crap makes a world of a difference.
yeah, it's like, because that's why I started it, because I got something that was poorly made. So that was like the whole thing. Like, why would I then start, making bad stuff? And so I've always wanted to continue to improve the product, which it has, drastically improved over the years. We've switched materials, we've switched the way we mount it. So we now 3D print brackets for mounting the new rear diffusers. And so it's like, yeah, it's great that I care so much, but as a business standpoint, I could be making a lot more money if I like sold the steering wheels that I have on the shelf. If you should just see the scrap pile that we have. And the people who have worked there are laughing, right? Because they know how much scrap like could buy a car.
Like I'm picturing it and it's still not even enough.
Just
discount.
Yeah, literally.
But then it's like, okay, can you buy does Apple sell scratched iPhones?
No.
So it's like,
Best Buy does.
but the actual manufacturer, and so
So
I
hand them
didn't-
to me, and then I'll sell them as open box. I'll be the Best Buy.
yeah, it's just like, at the end of the day,
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm giving you a hard time.
yeah, you're good. So it's like, and if you think about like as far as like efficiency standpoint, it actually is better just to scrap it, because the time it's going to take you to list it, sell it, and because it's damaged, the customer's going to ask questions about it. You got to post maybe photos of it. So it's just like, it actually is more efficient and cost effective to just not worry about that, scrap it, and just try and lean out and get as least amount of scrap as possible, improve the efficiency. And that's the kind of the way to scale up.
Depending on how bad these things are damaged, we could work out just a little shout out deal.
Yeah.
I'll take some of the damaged parts. We'll throw them on the car.
I probably have
I
like
don't care that much,
100
and then we'll just
We'll roll from there.
it'll be one of the.
I have like
one of the
100
car
side
sponsors.
splitters or more than that, like a huge two huge stacks, like as tall as a table. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like
We're gonna have a side splitter party.
the upcoming R8 is gonna have a side splitter sponsor.
Yeah.
Have you ever had like any crazy requests to special make and special build something? Like, has anybody as crazy as you with something like this has hit you up and be like, listen, you're my guy because you have this, and I want to make something even crazier than this. Can you build?
No one
X,
has
Y,
ever
Z?
said crazier, because it'd be because I made it as crazy as I could.
This
think
is
of.
hard to top.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
this
it would be
is-
hard
this
for
is
me to top
crazy.
it.
This is
Yeah.
like, again, we've seen some pretty crazy crap, and this might be the top of the top.
Yeah.
In terms of like just how wild this build.
Because with every little aspect, I like when it came to suspension. Okay, how do we make this the craziest suspension? And that's why like it took so long, and why things had to be redone. But yeah, so it was like, okay, the craziest suspension. What location to make it like the craziest and just most unique? And so yeah, that was just literally every aspect of the car was just wanting to make it as insane as possible. And so yeah, that's another reason why the Ferrari diesel will never happen, just because like, how do I get any crazier than this?
Yeah.
I think it's impossible, man.
Yeah.
I think it's
like even those
impossible.
fenders. That it took me like each bend for the front fenders. I was going to do a bend in the rear ones, but not after like bending the front ones because it takes me like 6 hours to bend just one side. I even made this like furnace outside my shop, like in the parking lot. Put these 4x4 steel sheet metal panels up to make a box. I put a propane heater in there and try to heat up as much as possible to like get the inside of that because basically a large oven. And even then I couldn't get that to work well, so I spent like a full day on that. And then I just used a normal acrylic bender, but the problem with that is if you heat up too fast, it will create bubbles inside the material. So basically you have to heat it up at such a slow rate and keep flipping it and use a heat gun that it literally takes hours to get it perfect. Because like it's within like 5 degrees. If you get it over 5 of where it needs to be, then the bubbles start
It'll
creating.
completely melt. It'll completely destroy everything.
Yeah.
And as we already know, you're a perfectionist, so it's got to be
Yes, that's the problem.
Sounds like
not
I
a,
can tell.
not a
Yeah.
single bubble in this bend.
Yep.
Man, well, I got a couple questions.
I also
Sorry,
have a couple questions.
We're always
too,
so like
With every
conversational,
answer, you
but-
get
I know,
more
yeah,
questions.
today-
right.
yeah.
This,
It's 'cause I'm
this is like this stuff is wild. We're not. You don't just have like a crazy garage. We sit down. We're like, what do you think about Lambo? What do you think about Ferrari?
Very
It's like
much
this
so.
is a little different of
Yeah.
an episode
Yeah.
because this thing's wild. But
And this goes a little out of our like niche knowledge too. So like what you've been able to do this car, like it very intrigues us because this is what we want to get down into eventually.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll ever do anything this crazy. I guess that would be cool to one day do something this crazy, but we'll see.
I have it in me. I think I might want to do something like this eventually.
Let me ask one question, maybe.
Go ahead,
and then
run
we'll
it.
get to you.
Run it.
I know.
We can do it
I've
rapid fire.
I've owned all the questions.
Run it.
Well, back to the content stuff because like there's other things. I saw you roasting a turkey off the back, like we talked about. How do you come up with these ideas today? Do you just like stuff pops in your head and you're like, oh, that would be crazy, and then you could just go do it?
Yeah. So really the only way to do it is to sit in front of the car and just not have phone in your hand and just think. Just look at different parts of the car. Yeah, I have to be looking at the car. I can't just be somewhere else. I mean, I can, but I have to visualize the car to kind of think about, what are the different options? What can you do? And so, yeah, for the turkey, so what kind of like started that was I did this exhaust stack a year prior. And so I had this huge stack sitting in my shop. And so it said, if you cut it and rotate it, then it's like just straight out the back. I was like, how funny would that be? And so I was just going to do that. And then I was like, this lines up perfectly with the wing mount. And I couldn't even have the wing there because it would be hitting the wing. So I was like, but it would be it wouldn't look good if I didn't have a wing on it. So then it was like Thanksgiving coming up. And so I was like, we'll cook the turkey on it. Yeah.
I love the content ideas.
Yeah.
We got to take a page out of your book pretty soon.
And that
So we can do
actually
some crazy
ended
shit
up
like
doing
that.
a lot better than I expected. I thought it was kind of like, everything's kind of dumb, but I thought that was really dumb.
I feel like that is Instagram content today. It is like
Because that
really dumb. You be controversial or dumb. Those are
Because with
Those are
that,
the only
why it
two
did so
things.
good is because you didn't have to be a car person.
No.
It's cooking a turkey. Anyone who knows about Thanksgiving, could enjoy that video.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
How many people do you have? Like, for example, how often do you take this thing? Like, do you track this thing at all, or do you take it racing, or do anything like that?
No, so, I get invited more shows than I can go to. So I never go to like an event that I'm not, invited to just because there's so many that I get invited to. And, I try to support as many people as I can. So it's like a lot of stress and all that to try to hit as many. Like this weekend I was, at Tuner Evo, had to drop the car off on Friday, got home late last night, got a few hours of sleep. And then, yeah, I'm here. And then this afternoon, I got another, like a little rally. And then tomorrow might be going to another place. So it's like
You're
a
a
lot.
busy man.
Yeah.
You're a busy man.
Yeah. All over the map.
And it has to be reliable. So, if let's say I take it to the track, because I get invited to a track all the time, like, hey, let's raid. I even got invited to do this versus that. And they invited me at the time when the car wasn't running. This was right at SEMA 2021. So I was still figuring out the clutch. And so, but like, let's say something breaks and it takes 4 months. Well, now I can't market. I can't do anything for 4 months.
It's time wasted.
And now I have to spend time, because really I'm the only one who can, not the only one, but I know the car so well that to pull the transmission, it's so much easier. Because I basically would have to explain so much to someone that I spent the time pulling the transmission, explaining it to someone,
Yeah.
So I kind of would have to do everything on it. And so it's just like to avoid me to take away, because like starting another company and building a mobile app. So, I'm focusing a lot of my time on that right now. And that's like really what I'm focusing on. So if something happens to the car, then, what do I do? Do I now not, work on the app, or do I, but I need the car, to do the app. So, yeah.
Oh, so the app is built around.
It's automotive. Yeah.
It is automotive.
Yeah.
We can't disclose too many details because it's still in the works.
Yeah. Well, when will this podcast come out?
Honestly, what is it? Would probably
Probably not very long.
yeah, maybe 2 weeks. Within
Okay,
2 weeks.
that's perfect. So this Wednesday, actually, it will be.
Okay,
It is
Wednesday.
actually on
Let's
the
go,
app.
baby.
This
Let's
Wednesday,
go.
it's probably
Let's
going to be
go.
the Monday after tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay,
Or
perfect.
not
So
tomorrow. Yeah,
it's
today's
actually
Sunday.
on the App Store right now, but it's such a beta version, and we're updating the design a lot. So actually, I took over the UI UX design because I found the best developer in the LA area. I feel like incredible developer. Very smart. He just got his master's. Atisha is his name, and so he's actually a co-founder. And so we've been working on this since, September or August or maybe July of last year. And so, I found the best developer, because to build a great company, you have to have the best of the best.
Absolutely.
If you have the best team, you don't even have to have a product. They can figure out a product to make money. The most important thing, and what I've learned with business throughout the years, is finding what they say is the right people on the bus, And so found him, and then I started looking for the best UI UX designer I could find. And so I have my ways of finding the best people. Don't want to share yet about that, but I'm able to
Some
really
networking hacks.
yeah. And so I know where to look and able to find the best. It's on LinkedIn is a big part of it, but yeah, I felt like I found the best UI UX designer in LA, and this was recently, and man, not, and it too with the app, it's like I know exactly what needs to be done because I'm in the car scene, but explaining it to someone who isn't in the car scene, they don't understand the concept, they don't know the function, where the pages need to go. So I was spending so much time trying to explain what to do, and realized after a week of that, it was like, the only way that this will work is if I do the design, because the core model of it will be getting feedback. It's building the most useful automotive app. So every single problem you can think of, and this is what I ask people, if you could have any app that would benefit you the most, what features would it have? Name some.
App
A search bar,
Yeah.
For what? Search bar for what?
whatever I'm searching for. That's
The thing,
that's such a broad.
But
Because I come from
think of even podcasting, one thing that would be very beneficial for you would be an automotive app that had a podcast section, so you could upload your podcast.
So what exactly is this product you're bringing to the market then? It's literally just like a.
So in the MVP, it's focusing on events, like ticketing. Right now, it will be free, only free tickets because we're still working on the payment gateway. But yeah, ticketing. So when you're.
I have a guy for that if you need that too. So.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got you.
But developer we have is pretty incredible.
He's dialed.
Yeah, so we already have we're working on the payment gateway, all that. We're using Stripe right now. But so let's say you go to a car show and you get judging done. Have you ever done that?
No, we have not.
No.
So what you do is they hand you a slip of paper and you write on the slip of paper your modifications. And you put it on your windshield. That's the
system. That's the current system that's ran.
Yep.
That's outdated as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's and you don't. The problem too is people. There's 100 problems. So, but people want to lift up their hood to get judged under the hood, but you don't want to stand by your car all day.
Right.
So one of the things when they scan your QR code on your windshield, because there will be a QR code linked to your car. And so that's how the tickets will work. So when they scan the QR code, you'll get a notification that your car is being judged. So you can walk over, you can lift up the hood, and so you don't have to stand there all day. And then, have you ever been at a show like where they announce the winners? So when they do, and they say, okay, this guy won and he has a 350Z. What did the 350Z look like? No one knows. Like, there's no connection to the car and the winner. So no one really, like, it's the most depressing thing going to a show that is announcing winners, because one, there's not that many people there, and two, it's like no one knows who that person, like, okay, this person won, but what car did he have?
Right.
And so, you would get a notification when they were announcing the winners, a thing would pop up with the photo of the car linked with the profile. So it's just like that.
It's like social media for these car shows and everything between.
So I
used a trigger word right there. Didn't
Yeah,
I? There it
because
is. I felt it.
The problem, there's a handful of apps out there already like that are trying to tackle this problem. And their biggest problem is, I'm giving them a pretty big secret, but not really a secret, but they're all trying to be social media platforms. You will have a 0% chance of success if you are trying to be a social media platform. How are you going to compete with Instagram and Twitter, and why there doesn't need to be an alternative?
Right.
Those two does everything that needs to happen. There's nothing that you can bring to the table that is different, So do not do social media. And so the whole point of this is to build the most useful app. And so not doing, there won't be followers, there won't be likes, you won't be posting. It'll be just solving every problem. And so the MVP will have the event tickets, drive share. So when you go, have you ever been on a drive with people?
Yeah, like a rally. Trying to coordinate all that is oh my God.
And then if you get like a red light, we'll split up the whole pack. And then you don't really know where everyone's at. So basically think of it as like a Call of Duty lobby. So you'll have everyone there, unlimited amount of people. So you can have 1,000 people in this drive share. Server costs will cost a lot, but
Does it have game chat or no? Are we allowed for that?
Yep. So
filtered game chat, of course, because it can't go too crazy.
Right now it's actually it won't be filtered. So yeah, we've talked about like, what if someone sends a dick pic? We gotta like figure out like,
you gotta find some system to monitor that.
Yeah.
So filter stuff out.
Yeah. But yeah, so and right now you can't send photos in the group chat for that reason. But yeah, we don't have, I feel like in the automotive industry, yeah, there's people, but I feel like everyone knows everyone, to where if you say something way too out of pocket, like, people won't forget that. So I think just that will kind of keep people under control. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so with the drive share,
we said some out of pocket shit too.
A lot of people in the lobby.
100%.
And then the host will pick a start and finish destination, and then they'll start the drive. And so you can see where everyone's at on the map. And, there's a group chat or a chat room. Part of, like, each event that's created will have its own chat room. And then there's one main chat room to get real crazy,
I love it.
Yep. So, but yeah, and so when you're driving to an event, you can have, see where everyone's at. And yeah, have this map, and kind of rally to an event using it.
It's actually really useful, because I literally, last time we were on a rally, I was like, if we split up, I was like, this is going to be a pain, because then you have half the group. Original plan was to go here, and then all of a sudden someone makes a little edit, and now we're going here, and it's all trying to coordinate.
Yeah,
and
like,
people are like, screw it, I don't even care anymore.
A change of address. How difficult is it to announce?
There was a change of address.
There was.
And it was, yeah. It was
and unless you have one massive group chat with everyone in it.
Send like a message and just alerts everybody.
And but the problem with that is, let's say, your DDE. They don't want their number out to people.
No.
So they're not going to be in a group chat with everyone, because now their phone number is out. And, Instagram group chat isn't probably the best. And so with the app, it, make sure it's, their number doesn't get, it's like as safe as possible and secure for them. And you could have literally everyone in the group chat, in the drive share. And so that's another thing that we're going to have in the MVP. And then from there, it's just going to, essentially, I have like a roadmap, but that doesn't matter if people suggest other things. So once we release the MVP, I'm going to, around like 200 people that I know, I'm going to, have them be part of the founders group. And so essentially I will just have them download the app, and I'm not going to like try and market like, oh, just try and, you know, get people to download it. And what I'm going to do is have them, you know, give feedback. What is this useful to you? If not, what do we have to do to make it useful? And I will not even try to get anyone else to download the app, and won't even push to like try to get it used by people until the vast majority, if not all of those people, then say, yes, this is useful, and this will benefit me, and I will use it. Because, you know, what is the point of trying to push a product, an idea, if it's not useful and it's not beneficial? You would spend, 2 years on a false idea, and then realize after the 2 years that you've been doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that it literally
Perfectionist coming out again, baby. I love it.
What about like so for like a Cars and Coffee, obviously there's no winner at a Cars and Coffee. There's no voting.
There could be a winner at a Cars and Coffee.
That's what I'm saying. Is that something that you guys are going to work on too? It's like scan this QR code, and you can, like, the people that show up can then vote on their favorite car at the show, and then that person gets some like badge, and they're collecting badges every time they.
You click on their profile, and they got like 100.
Yeah, it's like they've got 100 cars and 100 Cars and Coffee.
Like, oh, this dude is the real deal.
Yeah. I mean, it just depends what the event organizer, because each event organizer will have access to create an event. So there will be an event dashboard, and so they can just, you know, create an event. They can set the judging criteria if they want judging there. So it's all up to them. They can do whatever they want. You know, if they want to start doing that with their Cars and Coffee, they can. You know, the goal too is, like, you know, to have sell merch on it. So when the event is going on inside the app, they can, you know, purchase merch
like straight from the store, literally just boom, as they're there. Well, if you need 2 more people for this founders group, you got them sitting right here, because I would love to be a part of that.
Yeah,
founders group.
Like, you know, the whole purpose of that is just to figure out and make sure that we're developing the right features and not wasting any time on things that we might think is useful, but if no one else thinks it's useful for them, then, you know, it's pointless for us to focus on that. So, you know, yes, I feel like I have a great understanding of what needs to be done, but I can be a little crazy sometimes, especially like low on sleep. And
I feel you on that.
Yeah. So it's like just a good, you know, just make sure that we're on the right track and doing every little thing that people suggest. So that's the question I ask people. Like, literally is the first thing is, if you, and I've actually asked Will this, like, yo, if you could have any app with any features that would benefit you the most, what would it be? And most people, actually, it's hard for them to answer because they've never thought about that.
You stumped my ass. I was sitting there, I was like, I don't even know what the hell I'm trying to answer right now.
Yeah,
I didn't even know what. Like, yeah,
it's so broad. It's hard to.
You have to like think about it. But like there are many things that could benefit you. You know, as far as like you're doing a podcast, what would be, you know, because you post your podcast places, so there's obviously, you know, things that could benefit. So I'm just trying to get that out of, you know.
Yeah. Like, there's a platform I can post my podcast to, and they push it out to all of the platforms.
Yep.
So I'm not posting it 4 times. But that also has a monthly cost. So then it's like, it's not enough work for me to justify the whatever cost to just like upload it a couple times.
What's the monthly cost on that? Like subscription?
I don't know, but yeah, subscription.
So like the whole point of, like, right now, the Vote is a ticketing company, and so they charge like a fee. So the whole thing that we're doing is it will actually be free. And right now they advertise that they're the lowest in non-competitive industry, which
we're about to undercut their ass. Let's go. Baby.
So like the problem with them is, like, they have their whole business model wrapped around ticketing. So they can't just they have employees. They can't just be like, okay, we'll do 0.
Right.
Because then that's where all their revenue comes from. But from being a startup and having a very lean and efficient team, that, you know, that's just the first step. Because if you have everyone on the app, you can do anything. You can, like, that is the most important thing is, you know, and it makes things actually more useful when everyone is on the app. Because how useful then would it be for you to post a car podcast on an app that every single car person in the world is on? So, you know, when there's more people on it, it actually makes some features even more useful just because everyone is on it.
The funneling system, yeah. It'd be like trying to get Instagram to like dial in the algorithm and no need for it because everybody on here is already in the automotive thing.
Yep. So it's like that will be, you know, our big thing starting off is we're not gonna make money off ticketing. So for event organizers, it will be free. For you guys, creator, for podcasts, if we do that, it would be free, and all that. So we would get the ideas. I hope I'm not talking too much.
No, not at all.
Well, like I don't. Co-founder might not like turn it down a little bit, but very excited about this. So
he's like, hey, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's great.
I think I got my answer
I
to
just
that
love it.
question,
I've never been so excited about this.
Yeah, that's exciting. It's
I could
about to
sense it
drop,
off you,
so
yeah.
like that's
Oh yeah, dude. It's
that's
like
huge.
because I want to do something super useful, and
it's in the car world.
I see so many areas that need to be improved.
To answer your question, I think the thing that would benefit me the most if I had to pick something, an app, is if I could be at home and I could just order food from any choice fast food place and just have it brought to my house. Is preferably what I would like. Can you integrate that into yours?
There is a few apps that already do that.
That I can get anything I want delivered to my door.
Anything you want.
Even like in McDonald's, I don't have to like go to McDonald's. I could just
Are you
have it brought.
messing with me right now?
What do you mean?
DoorDash.
What is that? Let me sell him a little bit.
This
Let me
dude's
get him
DoorDash bill. Who knows what this dude's DoorDash? I don't even want to know.
I
Your DoorDash bill may be
this is a disclaimer,
higher than what I actually like make in a year. It's ridiculous.
The amount of money I spend on DoorDash on a monthly basis or a weekly basis is probably honestly disgusting.
I used to spend a lot on DoorDash too. And
It's weaponized. Like it's not okay.
it's addicting, bro.
It's addicting to a whole other scale.
But I used to spend a lot on DoorDash too, and I was like, bro, way too much.
Not to get offside. To get
No,
off
no,
topic,
it's fine. How about a just real simple question for you? Like, what kind of car guy would you describe yourself as?
It's a great question because this I wouldn't classify this as like are you a Lambro because of this, or is this even considered like a Lamborghini at this point?
So I mean, like it doesn't matter what you label yourself. It's matter what other people. That's what in society. Like for example, look at Trump and look at Biden. It doesn't matter who they are deep down. Society has made them whoever society wanted. Yeah. Trump is a racist. Whether he is or isn't, in society he's a racist. Right. Joe Biden isn't even alive, kind of. Like whether
he's checked out.
Yeah, whether he is or isn't.
That boy's checked
society
out.
has. So facts and truth, believe it or not, in society is really not whether it's like back in the day. You know what was fact? The Earth was flat.
Well, I'm asking Bryce Yeager, what kind of car guy?
This was the best answer to that question that I've ever heard in my life.
I don't know, like it'd be good to like ask what other people,
Like I would say, I just like Supercar Connection. We started Supercar Connection because I love supercars. Like I grew up, how cars look was like the first thing that got me. I was like, that thing looks insane. I love that. I love car design. I love insane looking cars with lots of cylinders, and they sound amazing. I want it to look amazing, sound amazing, be fun. That's pretty much like all I care about. So I don't care about like Nürburgring times. I don't care about all this stuff that all these people think are important. How does the car make me feel when I look at it, when I drive it? Like, so I'm like just a supercar bro.
So I feel like I start off just like everyone. You see the Fast and the Furious. You're like, yeah, brother, I'm gonna get a 350Z. I'm gonna put underglow on it and start getting real ricey with it. Yeah. So and it's funny. I did underglow when it wasn't cool. It's actually come back. Like it's cool now.
Some characters have made it cool recently, but
yeah. Ask Will.
Yeah, like because supercars now have it on their car. But before, like years ago when I did it, it was like, oh, that guy's ricey, bro. Like, that guy.
Super ricer.
Yeah.
Super ricer.
Yep.
So, I'm gonna have the second R8 in the area with underglow here soon for sure.
So like that's
we're gonna do better than Will.
I started off
Will's
with
gonna put it on for
imports and stuff like that, and then just I don't know. I saw someone I know, Aaron, in Atlanta. He had this crazy RX-7 he rolled up to Import Alliance. This was years ago when I lived on the East Coast, and I remember like same thing with like the whole cam thing of his car just being wild. I just saw it and it was like, and that always like just intrigued me. It was just because I love making stuff, being creative, and so that just kind of what like I started moving into that of just like, okay, let's not worry about, that I painted the first car. I didn't myself, but my first car was painted and like a chrome illusion color shift. It was like one of the only ones actually in the U.S. a crazy paint. And after that,
That
I
was legit painted, like legitimately.
yeah, dude, it perfect. Like we spent 9 months, like it very, very well done. And after doing that, I was like, man, that was so stressful. It wasn't fun. And I literally never drive the car because I'm so worried about the paint. And so with the Z, I started just doing really crazy stuff, and it was fun. It was actually really fun. Like, my cat was at shop at the time. I had like this little kid, and so I would let him out in the shop, and he would just like crawl all on the car, and I wasn't worried about it. The other car would be. Don't scratch the paint.
Right.
But this one, I loved it, and so then that's just kind of what like moved me over from like the car show just body kit, no motor work, because at the time I couldn't afford it. So you do what you can, and so move from that to then just the wild and unique and creative stuff. So I don't know, like I've always, Lamborghinis are cool, and I had a Lamborghini poster in my room. I feel like everyone,
Like all the bros, yeah.
yeah.
Easy.
So I guess I'm a Lambro, but yeah, it's just like I would never just own a stock Lamborghini.
Yeah.
That makes 3 of us being Lambros. Honestly, I might not even be a Lambro anymore, to be honest with you. I might be officially switching teams pretty soon here.
Mac bro.
I might be a
Bro,
Mac.
or
I might be a
Ferrari
Mac bro. Yeah, I might be a Mac bro.
Yeah,
soon
well,
here.
But you
see how
own
it
a Ferrari
goes.
right now, though.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, I might be a full blown Mac bro at this point.
But how do you own a Lamborghini?
No, so
So
my
you're
whole
a-
thing
you're
was,
a-
we have always loved Lamborghini.
We just love
we
Lambo.
love like that
Okay.
was the whole thing. So when I got to a point of
I can't afford a Lambo, so I don't have one yet. But
yeah,
I couldn't either. That's why I bought a
that's the
Gallardo that
angle.
was $40,000. Yeah.
I got to a point where I was like starting to buy, like I was going to get to the realm of buying my first supercar. And it was between, at the time I was looking at McLaren GTs is what I liked. So I went to go test drive one. I loved it. And I started hearing like all the traditional like McLaren problems, especially like the GT. I specifically had a lot of problems. And then all of a sudden a buddy of mine has this dealership in Glendale. He just posts up this 458 for sale out of nowhere. Like that's not his niche. That's not what he sells. All of a sudden he just lists it. And I hit him and I'm like, what the heck is the deal with this? Like, what do we got going on here? So then we worked out a deal. I was able to get the car. So I've never been like, I've been into Ferrari. I grew up as like Chevrolet, like Corvettes are like my main thing. Like I love those things. Like I have a Z06 too, and that thing is probably my favorite car. I like it better than the 458, which is, I know, all crazy skeptical, but I'm turning into a Mac bro solely because I think the next car I'm going to make that thing absolutely insane. And I'm finally understanding what are the typical problems with the car. And I think I'm in a position where I can conquer those problems. So I can keep that thing running.
Yeah, I actually, a few people I know have had, have a McLaren, have had issues. And honestly, when I was like looking for like the whole Copart thing, it was like, dude, McLarens are like, they're pretty cheap. They're pretty, like compared to Lamborghini, Ferrari and McLaren, like that's actually the most affordable.
Right.
So
you probably get a Rec 12C for the low.
yeah,
Low.
yeah. So
Heck
like,
yeah. Depending on the wreck,
the doors are very unique, and so I've always thought they were intriguing, but at the time that just saw this, and it was funny. I hated Gallardo. I called the Gallardo the poor person's Lamborghini.
Because of Ty Lopez?
No,
Ty Lopez. Oh,
that guy.
He ruined the damn Gallardo for me, man.
No, it's just like because it's like it was cheapest, literally the cheapest Lamborghini you could buy.
Yeah.
And so whenever I was younger, my dad would be like, hey, there's a Lamborghini, and if it was a Gallardo, I'd be like, nah, that thing's ugly.
That's not real.
Mercy or die.
Yeah.
All right, here's a question. You may have to think about this one for a second. But for someone who like creates content, some of your reels have tens of millions of views. If you could take any car out to try to like your goal is to maximize reel views with a car, and so you can get the key to literally any vehicle on earth, what would you go with?
That's a hell of a question.
Yeah, that is.
Because on one hand, it's like you can probably do something that's going to get more views and attention with this than a Koenigsegg.
Yeah.
But
So
at the same time, I've seen some Koenigsegg stuff go crazy. So it's like it's all
it's
about
what you do with the video,
Right.
really. And
so the car is ultimately your canvas for the video.
so if this wasn't already out there,
Yeah, this isn't an option.
yeah, it would be good. But you have to do something. If it was like maximize one video, okay, something that no one has seen before, and not like saying how, but like you haven't already made content with it.
It's a supercar Blondie formula.
Yeah. I
Let
haven't
me just
answered
get in
this
front of a
question.
concept car that no one will ever.
We're not
doesn't
even
exist,
just a
will never
concept. It
exist,
could be
and let's
any
just
car,
say
but
things about
it's
it.
not a car that you've made content with before.
Yeah.
Because then it's like it's not the first one, you know. So I don't know. What would I? Could it be modified, or does it have to be stock, or like price stock?
Stock. Let's go stock. Let's make
I
it
have,
easy.
I have an answer for this too when he's done too.
Yeah?
I have an answer for this question.
Always the dumbest formula, but it works. Find the most expensive car and destroy it.
He literally took
Dude,
my-
like
just said what I
literally,
was gonna
like
say.
that's the most simple thing you can do. So it's like, I don't know, what is the most the most expensive car in the world, or a car that there's only one that's like super, you know?
Well, let's say you can't destroy it because, like, you get the keys to a McLaren F1, but someone's not going to let you run it through a grinder.
Now we're adding restrictions. We're
Yeah,
gonna add a lot of.
I'm just
I was gonna say
saying.
I'll take like a Veneno and just start beating the heck out of it with a bat, and that would probably go
That would do
absolutely-
crazy,
that
but I
would
feel
do
like that's
M's.
like- now
What,
that's
Dubai
just-
showroom or something like that. Oh my goodness,
Now
that
that's
would do
cheating.
M's.
One of
Why is that
the
cheating?
first videos I did was I with the Drift Z I was doing, I was going to run an intake through where the headlight was. So I was just going to cut a hole in the headlight housing. So
Sounds
I
very
just got a
Hellcat-ish.
hammer and I just broke it. And that was the start of like everyone. That was actually the first video that, because by pulling the wide body off the Z and then throwing it on the car, yeah, that's like gets people. But that wasn't like you just destroyed a perfectly good headlight. And so that's what I did, you know, and that was like, okay, people get offended when you destroy shit, like really
Slim
offended.
Diesel. Ask him.
And it's funny because it's like, you know, I was going to use the headlight housing. It was an OEM headlight, really poorly. But still people were like, oh my, I could have used that head, you know, I could have fed people in Africa type of thing. Like,
People
yeah.
run into that kind of comments on. Oh my goodness,
But like
People-
that- yeah,
internet-
it's
internet's
like-
undefeated, man.
Yeah.
Internet's undefeated.
But like, so yeah, with a bat like that, you will, yeah. And if it's like even better, like a girl that doesn't seem like she's into car, like I don't know if you've seen the videos recently, but you know, someone who isn't into cars that doesn't seem like they're doing it for a specific reason, that will even add. So there's like things, if you think about it, what I've actually heard, like Trevor Wallace had this thing he said in one of his podcasts. He was like, when he's creating a video, the one thing he asks himself is, will you send it to someone you know? So make a video, watch it yourself. Would you send it to someone? If you wouldn't send it to someone, it's not a good enough video. Because what really gets a video to go viral is the sends. Like if you see
Right.
some of
The
my
engagement.
dude,
Yeah.
some of my videos, like with the turkey and the backflip and all the other stuff, is like the sends is ridiculous. There's more sends than there are likes. So that's what really gets it to do
Someone
well.
can only like it one time, but they might send it to 4 people.
Yeah.
And if they like it, that's not exposing it any more than it already, you know.
Right.
But when you send it to a friend, one, that helps out the algorithm because it's letting Instagram know, hey, this is something that this person is, you know, it's being sent a lot. So let's push it to more people.
Right.
And then on top of that, you're also showing more people. So it's like a double win. Yeah.
I think I go with Pagani Zonda, Cinque. I'd make something with that.
I mean, if it's talking about,
Veneno is a great one.
and nowadays a Cybertruck today would be you know, you want to do something that is like in
I
the
feel like
moment.
we're already too late for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Enough
It's
people
crazy,
smack
yeah.
Cybertrucks with bats.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
I mean,
now,
they shot the damn thing.
But
already.
even then, it's late. But you know, it still does pretty well. But yeah, I mean, any hypercar you destroy or do anything with, yeah.
Your answer was Veneno.
My answer, yeah, I would like exactly what he said. I would have took a Veneno and like walked
So
in
what was
Dubai
the car?
showroom.
You said what you do, but like, is there you pick a car?
A Koenigsegg, I feel like, is a very like sought after, like high prestige car.
Koenigsegg's are like people are on the Koenigsegg's right now.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, I feel like Pagani doesn't get enough love anymore.
Oh,
it is what it is.
yeah. I don't. Yeah, it's all Koenigsegg now, and I believe, you know, rightfully so. I really like the design of the car, and yeah, Pagani is like, they have some.
Pagani's art.
Yeah, it is very detailed.
Art.
Yeah,
On wheels, literally.
but it's like
perfectly said.
I don't want to drive art
Yeah.
on the road. I mean, like, but
Art
you know,
feels expensive to drive.
But
on
then
the
you
road.
get that like that.
it's old
Koenigsegg-
art, I should say. It's
get-
not like
yeah.
creative art. It's old art.
right.
You get that. You see that Koenigsegg in person, and you're just like, this thing is wild. What's crazy is like the Regera, like build quality and everything that when you're looking at that compared to a CCX, like one of the original Koenigsegg's, it's night and day. But then like when you get close to that Regera, you're like, what am I looking at?
Right.
I mean, I'm looking at a 5,000 square foot house in a great area.
Yeah.
is what I'm looking
Yeah,
at.
for real. Yeah, in a fantastic area.
Fantastic area.
Great
with
school district,
with a
no
great
crime.
view and a pool and all that stuff. And instead it's sitting on 4 wheels for some guy. So good for him. He's doing great.
That
But
was a great analogy.
yeah. Should we go into the guest questions?
I was about to, let's do it. I was about to say, let's do it. You go.
Okay, so we always ask our guests the same 4 questions. This is kind
Nightcap.
of this is like we are wrapping up. I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to get out there before we go into the guest questions.
No,
Any
that's
shout outs.
I'm here for
Yeah.
conversation. If you guys have any questions, yeah.
Perfect.
All right. Well, here's the guest questions. Everyone gets these questions, so it's always fun to see the answers. First up, what is the most overrated car?
I think the LFA.
Heck of an answer, baby.
LFA.
I just like last year there was one at a show and like people were like, oh, it's just like, what is special about it?
How it
Like I feel like it was a
Sound.
failed product from them. You know, it definitely overpriced. You know, it shouldn't. I don't know.
It was a failed product.
Rarity,
They barely
RPM,
sell, like no,
sound.
they didn't sell out.
Yeah.
People didn't want
because
them.
if it wasn't failed, they would be pushing it right now. So it was literally a failed product. But a lot of people like hype that up. And if you go to a car show, it's like surprisingly like a lot of people. I don't know. Probably because it was this dude owns a failed product. Like
Literally this week, I posted an LFA to our story with a poll on the answers were like worth over $1 million or overrated, and overrated was like 80%. I think.
I think it's
so
community.
they're worth $1 million now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they go for
People
over $1
attach
million.
that dollar figure to the car and just automatically.
Last I
without
remember,
doing
it was
any research.
300,000.
No, it's M's.
Because that's retail.
Right, that's retail.
Yeah, it's
I did
M's.
not
And
know
they
they
didn't
went
sell
up
out.
on value.
They went
Like
way
crazy.
up. They took off
Like crazy.
because no one wanted them, and then everyone wanted.
So I had my answer without even knowing it was worth $1 million.
It was,
Yes.
it's a really good answer.
It
I'm
was
telling you.
overrated at 300.
Yeah.
Now
And
we're at
now
$1
they're
million.
worth over $1 million. Yeah, because there's not very many of them. So, obviously the rarity happens. People got obsessed with how they sound, blah, 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 which sounds great. But I mean, is that enough? You can buy a 458 and make it sound better.
You can.
And just
My
because
shit
it
sounds better right now.
doesn't mean it. Because like if Lamborghini or whoever made the ugliest car but only made one of them, it'd be very valuable. That doesn't mean it's a cool car.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean it wasn't a failed product.
Like the Veneno.
No, that was it.
Is it a
Yeah,
good looking
yeah.
car?
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's like it
looks crazy.
It borders that
Is it
where
good
like
looking?
it's good looking, but it's like I don't even know what I'm looking at.
But like again, it looks like it's an $80,000 car. It doesn't look
LFA.
like
the LFA.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was like the vendor
put
was not looking.
Put
at
it next to
Oh,
put
yeah,
it next
yeah,
to an LC 500, which we got to do this with someone that doesn't know anything about cars. We'll
Yeah.
put the LFA next to an LC 500 and go, which one's nicer? Which one's
We're
more
doing
expensive?
it. We're doing it.
And people like my wife would be like, oh, the would definitely say the LC 500. It looks more. It looks similar but more modern. So you'd
One's a
pick
millionaire's car, and one a dentist drives.
Yeah.
So
one you can pick up for 70 grand. Okay, next question. What's the most underrated car?
I'm judging you on all these answers, by the way. So
Oh,
just
you're
know.
about to judge me on this next one.
What's
Fantastic.
the most underrated car on the market today?
Car wise, I feel like anything that deserves. I feel like the industry, there's not really too many underrated. There's just a lot of overrated. There's so that the line is definitely much further on the overrated. So I don't think
Sure.
there's really specific cars that are underrated. But as far as like, I really do think EVs are like, I know they're hated on, but like I really think that just in general, the whole EV move is very underrated because like they're already counting out a new technology that, okay, yeah, trust me, I love gas, dude. I make this thing shoot flames, two-step, whatever. I'm all for that. But, it's like essentially within the first 10 or 20 years of the first gasoline car, and like looking at that and being like, oh, this is the best it's going to get, and just having that perspective. But now look where we're at with look at how involved. So now let's think about electric cars. Electric cars have been around for how long? I mean, really long, but like we're actually now manufacturers are
They're
doing
mass
it.
producing them.
So
between them.
what is the opportunity? What type of technology? What can we do with that? I don't think people really understand and think like what there can be done with an electric car. Like there's like
they're computers. First off, Teslas are more computer than they are car. So let alone, again, even the self-driving capability that will come eventually, that whole thing, just that.
That's another underrated thing. Dude, Tesla has basically solved it. And and because of the media, they're, there's one instance of whatever, and then they count out. But like, dude, they basically have it solved. And also, I'm getting the Cybertruck. I have it pre-ordered. Getting it actually in a few months. And so, and I'm getting it mainly because it is the safest car you can get. And which is kind of talking about, I go from the most unsafe to, but
a death machine, right?
Yeah, but like to me, it's especially in LA, you hear on the news where cars get T-boned, like a drunk driver, and so
I'm familiar.
You could really like care about your health, do everything right, and then just one mistake, like this guy.
Not even a mistake.
Someone else.
Out of your control.
You could make zero mistakes.
Yeah. Like this guy literally tried to kill his family by driving off a cliff. Did you hear about this?
And survived in the Tesla.
Yeah, he's going to jail now because like he literally tried to kill his family. But
well, the Model X had the best rollover rating of all time.
Model Y is the safest car out.
Yep. And so it's like that alone, I think, is just with the electric car. Would that have happened with electric cars as much or with gas cars? I don't know because they're all based around the software. And so because of that, they're actually able to make the airbags much more efficient and work so much better because they have much better computers in the car. So it's like, and down the road, it could even be to where there could be swappable electric motors. So you can just build a car much easier and do just a lot more creative stuff and have each wheel have different, like you could just do anything.
I want to retro mod a crazy, like one of the most beautiful classics, electric, I think, which there's already like businesses out there that are doing that and it's expensive, but like to get like imagine like an Aston Martin DB5, like James Bond, and it's electric and can rip to 60 in 2.5 seconds. And like, that's what you're driving around. Like, I think that would be so awesome. And
I don't know, like
there's people that would
to
hate
take the other side. I feel like, it was made gas and it, I don't know. There's, a lot of people that there's, at one of those SEMA shows, there was like old classics that were made to be electric. And I don't know, I feel like that stuff, it was built to be gas and it is gas. And so to make it electric, I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of that. But it's like,
your car was built to be a V10.
Yeah.
And you have a 2J in it.
Yeah. But no, I get that. But like, I don't know. It's just like, probably because I don't know. I don't like older cars. I'm not a classic person.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not totally into it either, but I can appreciate like a beautiful car. And if I really wanted to drive an electric, I feel like that would be a good application in my own opinion.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people like to, like, car guys try to ignore the fact that like electric cars have their place. Like,
very much
they are very good at certain things.
In the opportunity around. We've basically maxed out what you can do with a gasoline car. Like, literally,
that's
we've
the whole reason
maxed
why this
it out.
platform even exists.
But now with electric cars, man, like the new Roadster, they're going to be working with have like SpaceX, probably like cool
jet propulsion.
Thrusters on it, and so like just it's going to get real wild.
I know you're geeking out about that. I know you can't wait to see
it.
Yeah, I know you. I could feel it in you. Because I can't wait to see the same thing.
I love rockets. Like I actually went to the very first when they were going to launch the Starship last year. I actually went down to Boca Chica and saw it. And you can literally, people don't know this. That's another underrated thing is the Starship. Like, I think that's the most important thing that's happening in our generation and will happen in our generation.
Starship? Yeah.
Like, that is singly the most important thing to make humans multiplanet. Like that will open up the door to everything, dude. Like most technologies, you know, the electric drill was made by NASA because you can't have a power cord up in the ISS. So electric battery, like that type of stuff was first done in NASA. So there's a lot of things, technologies that were done in NASA that then, you know, slowly filtered out into the public.
Yeah.
So by just exploring space, the amount of technologies that we're going to, you know, find, you know, create and all that stuff. So it's like, I don't know. I just think the Starship, like, not that many people even know about it, and it's like pretty wild. So you can go down there and the Starbase, and you can get like within a few hundred feet of the world's largest and most powerful rocket. Like, it's more than twice as powerful as the Saturn V.
We need to do that. We need to do it.
Yeah.
It's wild.
I'm waiting. I have a friend that goes
soon
to
they're
these
gonna
things a
close it
lot,
off
and
to where-
I'm waiting for the invite, but he has yet to invite
Yeah,
me
like
to a rocket
soon
launch.
they're going to close it off. Like it is so wild that you could go out there. I don't want to say, but like security is like kind of concerning. I was like, I was like, you guys probably should have more security around
I was
here.
like, why am I this close to this?
Yeah, like I should not be allowed to be within. They don't even check your car for like any like, you know. So I don't want to say it, but like someone could easily just a bullet into the side of the thing and then ruin an entire launch. Like they're not even
Go
checking
to jail
for
for life.
Yeah, what to say?
but still, like at the end of the day, people don't care about you know who do that type of stuff. So it's just mind blowing that you can just see that type of stuff. And I don't know. I think it correlates a lot with cars because, man, those Raptor engines on there are like the most
Crazy.
powerful. You know,
They're crazy.
yeah.
Last question.
Dial it up. You got it.
I got it.
You got it.
All right, so you got to pick a 3-car garage. That's all you get. 3 cars with an unlimited budget. Let's hear it.
Can I pick that?
You can pick that.
So that one, of course, a 2J. Yeah, I'm never going to sell that car. And then probably a McLaren F1.
Okay. Solid. I mean,
Yeah,
solid pick.
just I don't know. Growing up, that was like
That car. No,
legendary.
very solid pick.
Yep.
Mr. Bean vibes.
And then yeah, some like a Tesla,
Yeah.
a safe daily driver, dude.
Cybertruck.
Cyber Beast.
Cybertruck, just
Model
a
X Plaid.
safe daily driver because I feel like Teslas are the best vehicle to get you from point A to point B, and yeah, I mean it could pick another exotic, but when you have a car like this, and you have to check everything before you drive it. Like it takes me so long to even get this on the road because you got to check everything. And what if a bolt comes like loose, and then everything you worked on just gone in a second. So
Right.
you really got to like thoroughly check everything. It's just a lot of work. And then getting in, it's just stressful to drive it because you're checking everything. Like my roll cage is a cool design, but the side design, if a car T-bones me, dude, I am
Dunzo.
Great shape.
Dunzo.
Done,
yeah,
dude.
The instructor will tell you that.
like,
Don't worry about
so it's like I'm so like watching every car around me, very
Yeah.
observant. And so it's very stressful. And then when you go through that, you appreciate how like easy it is to get in a car and
Simple.
just drive it.
People don't understand. I have a Tesla, a Model Y. I love that car. Phone, get in it, no key, don't even think about it. Foot on the brake, drive, zoom, zoom, zoom. Like I am such a huge fan of that. But like exactly what you said, I don't have to the scale of this where I appreciate it that much, but I can appreciate just those little subtleties to you on a whole other degree.
Yeah,
So I
when
get what you're saying.
I first started with the 350Z and I started modifying it. It was like, you know, I didn't even think of it that way. I was like, no, this is perfect for a daily driver. But once you start getting real crazy in the stuff, it makes you like appreciate just being able to hop in a car much more.
Hell yeah.
To a point where it's like sometimes, like after a show, you know, I'll drive and then I have to drive another car. And then it's like, I'm so happy to be driving that other car. I'm like, thank God I'm not driving the Lamborghini where I'm going because like it is stressful and you can actually relax and breathe and
Yes.
yeah. So, but I want to hear your quote. What you guys think the most?
Oh, you want to hear our answers?
Yeah, has
Yeah,
anyone asked you
our
that?
guests are asking us those
Yeah.
things. You want to take overrated, underrated? I'll take the opposite.
What do you mean?
Like you pick one?
I think. What you think we have the same answers?
No.
We kind of low key might.
We might.
So the most overrated, which this has been an answer multiple times already. I've seen it a lot of times.
We're gonna have the same answer on this one.
Is the GT3 RS because it's an amazing car, and it's fantastic. It's a fantastic car, but the obsession that people have with it and like the pedestal they put it on, because of the Nürburgring, a track that no one here will probably ever, like all the people that are quoting a Nürburgring time will probably never drive on the Nürburgring in their life, especially much less a GT3 RS.
Yeah.
And that's a very specific track too. Like you look at track times here, like the 720 beats out a 3RS on a lot of tracks here. That's neither here nor there. The 3RS, I think it's beautiful. I think it's sick. I think the new one is like the sickest 911 that's hit the road. But like it's got this weird cult following where they'll like defend it. You can't say anything bad about it.
Yeah.
So like that is.
Yeah, that was very controversial to go after Porsche. Yeah.
You say anything and like people just. That's kind of like how we started blowing up at first, was like hating on Porsche, and then people just came after us. And it's like, dude, this car is not the second coming of
telling you,
Jesus Christ.
They've brainwashed the masses. I've said it before.
The one thing I do find crazy, like I've never driven one of those, so I can't say if it's good or bad. But from the people I know who own one, say it's the best car that they've ever owned. However, the one thing I don't like about Porsche is like the price increase to buy a new vehicle. Just like, yeah, there's like how it's like,
yeah, that's the
a
biggest
club,
thing.
and you just, it's a money club, really.
Yeah.
There's deeper pockets, means you're more in the club, and so
the base Carrera has 379 horsepower. It goes 0 to 60 in 4 seconds, and it starts at $120,000. And then they spec out to like, you see them spec out to $150,000.
And then they always have that price at the end. They're just like, oh, you want the car, we're just going to increase it by like $20,000.
And then people are like, it's not all about horsepower and 0 to 60. It's like, well, when I can buy a V10 at that cost, it kind of becomes about horsepower.
It does.
And
It
0 to 60.
100% comes.
I don't want this glorified sports car. It's just way too much. They've gotten way too expensive. Great cars, way too expensive. And I've driven Porsches, so don't come after me. I know what they feel like.
Yeah.
Maybe I just don't know how to drive. I don't really care. I know how I like to drive, and I know how I like a car to feel. What I've driven, ain't it? We have the same.
We have the same answer for that. I think most underrated. For me, the most underrated car is pretty biased opinion, but I think the new Corvette Z06 is pretty underrated. That car is insanely fun. It's insanely fun. It's comfortable. It's all new technology. It's a pretty big car, so you feel like you're driving like a car to a certain degree. The sound is incredible. Revs to 8,600 RPM, 670 horsepower, flat plane crank V8. Like, you can't beat it. And an American car. So the reliability aspect is there. So all that curated into one for the price.
It's funny that you just said, until, I don't know, I've never heard American-made car and reliability in the same, more or less, like, you know, but, no, it's funny that you say that, because when the car first came out, there was a lot of hype around it, but then it just died out so quickly.
Like the price increase.
Yeah, because they couldn't deliver, and people were charging $200K.
$200K.
For
because normally they push Corvettes, the volume car, like they want them out, but for whatever reason, the Z06 production and then the dealerships taking the markup, the car never really hit the market like everything else prior would have.
So is it still marked up?
Some places have them still marked up. There's a lot more places that do not have them marked up, but there's still places that have them marked up.
Is it because the demand is still high for them?
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know. I have someone that put a dealer, well, I guess it's custom built, so maybe that's part of it, but like they gave them a build slot that they have coming in 4 months for $10K over. But that's where we're at now. It used to be like $40K over for what's on the lot, and now it's like, hey, you can spec out your own. It'll be here in 4 months, $10K over.
Like when they first dropped, the MSRP on the cars average were probably like 130, maybe 150. They were going for 200. Like no 100%, 180, 190, 200 all day long.
When was the car officially released?
Crap. Last
A
November.
year ago?
Yeah. No,
So it's not
yeah,
the new,
maybe like like
so it's not
almost
this new C8. So you're just saying specifically the Z06.
The C8, Z06.
Well, that's the thing. When it started with the C8, it was kind of like that, but then they pushed it out. Then when they started the Z06 development, because it's going to be a lot less than the base C8, they had like the strikes going on with all the American companies, and like just everything. The production slowed. So because of the car's hype and like what it does, plus not being able to deliver as much units, the dealers took advantage of that.
Yeah, I will say this. I do think those strikes are going to destroy American companies. Absolutely destroy. Ford, GM are done.
I think they're already done.
They've
been done.
Yeah. How can you compete with Tesla?
You can't.
When your entire company is ran by a union that doesn't think about long-term success, yeah, cool. They'll pay their employees more right now, but in a year they won't have a job. So congrats. You kind of ruined that for everyone.
Tesla's not going to have employees pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, with the
Optimus?
yeah,
Optimus bot?
dude,
Bro,
that's
just wait.
I'm actually the most excited about that.
No,
dude.
you have no idea. Like this, I can feel your energy when it comes to Tesla. I'm the same way. So like when it comes to talking about
And
that, we'll sit here and talk 2 hours. I'm
I have
nerd
employees,
when it comes to this.
So when you just deal with small management things of like, okay, we shouldn't be dealing with this because this is like a human thing.
Yeah.
Of why it's a problem. Then it's just like, dude, with those, it's like you won't managing will be so much easier because managing, I'll have to say, is probably the hardest job out there. You can be the best manager in the world, know everyone, and then there's one person that comes along that you just can't get to. Like can't understand them, can't manage, and it's just like it is very difficult. So I think that will change everything. Yeah,
it's gonna make shit crazy.
Real quick, let me plug the most underrated car is the Alfa Romeo 4C. Mine's for sale. You should purchase it if you're in the market for a car under $50,000.
The Supercar Connection Duo cars are for sale. That's awesome right now.
Yeah.
4C, 458. Let's get them sold. Let's make shit happen.
Yeah. We're pushing on to new levels.
You want to rip your 3-car garage? I'll rip mine.
Oh, we're doing that too?
You asking us for the 3-car garage too or no?
Yeah.
We'll rip it real fast. Call it a day.
Yeah.
Dial it up. You got it. Or you want me to go? Because I think I kind of have mine like that.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. G63 4x4 squared. Okay. Has to be, I want China blue exterior, red interior. That's my dial up. Okay. But it has to be 4x4 squared. Because in Fantasyland, I want my 4x4 squared.
100%. You don't have to explain that to me.
I would do a matte black Aventador SVJ.
SVJ. How about that? He switches.
I switch it. SVJ.
Because of the hype.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of the gang.
Oh.
SVJ. Then it's also Miami too. So I'm
sure.
picturing like I walk out on like my island house and I'm like, this is what I'm seeing. And then the third one would probably be, this is hard because I want to go something that like is like to current day, but I'm thinking like maybe something pretty wild too. I would probably do a 765 LT like McLaren and just absolutely mod that thing to crazy.
4x4 SVJ 765.
Yep. Driving car, hype car, daily.
You ready for this? Because my answer has, I think, changed since the last time we answered.
We've done this. We've been doing this for a while now. So.
It's literally changed just like in the last 5 seconds. So I don't even know what's actually going to come out of my mouth. But first, Chiron Pure Sport is number one for me. That's the car I would just like rip everywhere. We're going to go with...
Side note, I don't get why everyone loves Bugatti so much, dude.
Bugatti. Bro.
It's the
Bugatti.
road. It was like
what color is
the
yours?
best car. It's just like it looks like a 350Z.
Well,
That
it's
is
just like an A.
fucking wild take right now.
That is a wild take.
That is a wild take.
I don't. It's just like I don't like very rounded cars. Like look at this. All the sharp and that's the most rounded supercar.
Well, the Pure Sport is the sharpest angled.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That thing speaks to me. So it is what it is.
It does thanks to him. So.
Number two, I'd go with probably. This is so hard. I'm gonna go with a VF supercharged STO.
I respect that.
And then number three, we're gonna go with Rolls Cullinan.
That's a hell of a mix-up from what your normal is.
Right.
I love it.
What was it before this?
I don't remember what I said last
We both
time.
had
It was
SVs.
it was an SV.
We both had
there. I
SVs.
think it was it a Pure Sport and SV and like, I don't even know what the last one was.
It was some type of daily. I don't even know what it was.
Yeah. I was between a Cullinan and a Urus, but I'm like, if I want to drive fast, I'm driving a sports car. So let's take
If you
Cullinan.
could, how about this? If you only could pick one car for the rest of your life, and you have to use it for everything, like you literally can't rent a car, you can't do, and you have to pick one car for the rest of your life, what would you pick?
I would probably pick a 992 Turbo S.
Really?
Yeah. Because that car you can do anything.
I'd probably get a.
As much as that pain.
You can't go to Home Depot and get plywood though.
No.
Right.
Well, if I'm driving that car, I ain't doing no fucking plywood job. So
Right, I'm driving.
Pants goes
I'm
that
going to
fucking
U-Haul.
shit.
I'm renting a truck.
I
for
But you
U-Haul.
can't-
I'm not even
rent
doing
the
that.
truck.
I'm like, you handle that shit. I don't handle
You
that
can't do anything.
Well, like you can get mover, but I'm saying like you're the.
All right, I'm getting a.
I don't do
I'm
that
getting
now.
a-
I pay people to
I guess
do
I'm
that
getting a
shit.
Urus Performante.
What?
Dude,
That's
what
your
else am I gonna do?
No, I respect that, but wow. The perf.
One car.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't
Because
even
what are you
rent
gonna do?
anything else.
Are you gonna have kids?
Huh?
Are you gonna have kids?
Yeah, I will.
You're just gonna stuff them in the corner.
What would you take?
Probably the Cybertruck. Yeah. So
Ooh.
Cyber Beast.
I know the hype, but it's like I make stuff. So I go to Home Depot all the time, dude. Like literally all the
Tell you,
time.
2 different worlds. That's why
Yeah.
you're looking at that where I'm thinking of like I ain't doing that shit. Yeah.
I'm the happiest when I like
I'm gonna
make
need,
something.
I'm gonna need a SUV at some point
Yeah,
for
that's what I'm
something.
saying.
So I guess if
Yeah.
it's got to be an SUV, yours perf.
Respect that. G63 on the way.
So I have right now a daily Range Rover, older one, and dude, they suck so bad.
Range Rovers are the worst cars ever. made.
Everything, nothing works on the car.
No. Sounds British to me.
Yeah.
But
So that's why, like, I need something to haul stuff around.
Well, good question. Thanks for
Yes.
turning the
I appreciate it. We
camera
like that.
back on
Yeah.
us.
We
Yeah.
like that very much. But yeah.
Thank you for coming on. Plug your IG. Where can they
Yeah.
follow you? Where can they find you?
Yeah, Jagerbomb142 is my Instagram.
Jägermeister.
TikTok the same.
I'm not on TikTok, man.
All right.
I don't like. I don't.
Is
I don't-
Instagram the only platform we can find you? Jagerbomb142.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, I don't like the government watching on TikTok what I do.
I respect that.
Yeah.
I respect that.
But
Jagerbombs
and then Street Arrow,
142.
my company, check it out.
Street Arrow.
And then
Any
the
other
app
plugs?
when you guys see this.
The app when you see it. And then definitely go look at some of the content if you're just listening, because you got to see this Lambo that we've been talking about this whole time. It's crazy. It's crazy. And the content he creates is crazy. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, dude. Thanks
was
for
a lot
having
of
me.
fun.
A lot of fun.
Bryce,
Enjoyed
G.
it.
Thank you guys.
Yep.
We're out.